participants about the technicalities regarding this breakout room session. First, the speaker will have a 27-minute session that can be used for presentation, question and answer, or other activities with an extra 3 minutes for a closing statement. Second, the speakers are allowed to share their own screen or ask a committee member to help them with sharing the screen. Third, participants should always turn off their microphones during the presentation time. Fourth, participants are allowed to turn on their microphones during the Q&A session after being approved by the moderator. Fifth, participants are allowed to ask questions using English or Bahasa, which will be translated by the moderator. And lastly, for the participants who would like to ask a question, please introduce yourself using your full name and in your institution before asking the question, or you can just use the chat box feature. Okay, without further ado, let's just start the presentation from our partner university. Please welcome Ghent University from Belgium. Mr. Jandon, the time is yours.
Thank you, Melma. And my name is Jandon from Ghent University, and I will, without no further ado, as you so nicely stated, start my presentation. I will share my screen. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. So I am an international relations officer at Ghent University in Belgium, and I will take like 15 minutes to try to convince you that studying at Ghent University is a good idea. What will I show you? I will first introduce you a little bit of the country, Belgium, and the city where the university is, then give you some explanation on the university itself, the education we give, the research we do, what is student life like at our university and our city, and then finally, last but not least, if you are interested, how to go about to apply and get scholarships if possible. I will not do this alone. I have the assistance of Jasper. Jasper used to be a student at Ghent University, and he was so enthusiastic that he wants to explain himself. So let's listen to Jasper.
Hi everyone, my name is Jasper. I'm 26 years old and originally from the Netherlands. I came to Belgium as an exchange student to study psychology at the University of Ghent. And I fell in love with the city, and now I live and work here. I would love to guide you around and show you what my city and my university, of course, has to offer. I'll show you how easy it is to get around in Ghent. I'll guide you through campuses. And of course, I'll show you how to have fun and relax.
Was the sound okay of Jasper? Could you hear
Yes,
Okay. So first of all, Belgium and Ghent. So for those who know geography, Belgium is in the center of Europe. It's very nicely located. In between of very interesting cities like Paris, London, Amsterdam. You can all reach them in a couple of hours by train, quite cheap. So if you study at Ghent, certainly take the opportunity to visit these fine historical cities. Belgium is a small country. It's probably as big as a province in Indonesia, and it has two communities. There is a French-speaking community in the south that borders France, and there is a Dutch-speaking community in the north that borders the Netherlands. And there is a very small Dutch-speaking community. In the middle, we have Brussels, and Brussels is actually mixed. But everybody in Belgium, mostly everybody can speak English perfectly. But we speak Dutch, not French. The city of Ghent is an historical city. Goes back to the medieval time. It has a lot of historical buildings, but it also has some modern buildings. It's not a big city. It's a mid-sized business city, 300,000 inhabitants, so it's quite easy to get around. Within the city, we have the university, but we also have some colleges and high schools. So we have almost 80,000 students on total in Ghent, which gives a nice mix of young studying people and people living in the city. There is over 167 nationalities for the moment living in Ghent, so it's a quite multicultural. You will not be alone as a foreigner if you study at Ghent, for sure. We have a lot of restaurants and pubs where you can have food and drinks. So it's a very cultural and very diverse city with a lot of social and cultural activities, musea, nice parks. you will feel at home, but let's listen to Jasper, what he has to say about it.
As an exchange student, public transport is a great way to move around. It's fast, it's cheap, and it's easy. You can also explore Ghent by bike. At the Fietsenambassade, you can rent one for 3, 6, 9, or 12 months. They have special prices for students, so that means cheap, cheap, cheap. Hi, I would like to rent a bike. Where do I need to be? All right, thank you very much. When you rent your bike here, you also have a full repair service, because you can always let your bike fixed here during your rental period. So many bikes! I can't count them. Can you? I got my bike, so let's take this beauty for a spin, and I will show you how beautiful Ghent can be. Come on with me. As you can see, you can move yourself very easily throughout Ghent as a student. It's also very cheap because you can go by tram, by bus, by...
Oh, that was a bit too quick. Right, let's now give you some information of the university itself. Ghent University is a mid-sized university. It's about 50,000 students. More than 10% is international students. It's a top 100 ranked in the world according to the most current university rankings. So it's quite a renowned university in the world. We have 11 faculties, so we cover virtually all study possibilities that you can imagine. We are also the only university in Belgium that offers veterinary medicine. And the university is not located in one campus. The faculties are spread all over town, which gives a nice mix between the town and the university. You can see this is one of the campuses, but there we have different campuses per faculty that are spread all over the town and even around the city. Let's tell a bit more about what you can study in Ghent. We have over 250 almost programs, out of which almost half are in English. In bachelor's, we have very few. Bachelor studies are mostly in Dutch, but in the master studies, half of the 140, about 70, are in English. And then we have some master after masters, and they are virtually all in English. And then the postgraduate studies are, we have a dozen of postgraduate studies in English as well. So there is quite a good choice of studies in Ghent in English. If you want to check, we refer you to the study guide. I can give you the link, and it's very easy to search the study guide by you can by just using keywords, the program type, field of interest, and you can find all the information per study that you are interested in. First, of course, you have to filter through language, and then you get only the English programs. We are doing a lot of exchange, both incoming and outgoing. We welcome more than 6,000 students a year. Now with COVID, that was a little bit less, you can imagine, but on an average year, we welcome more than 6,000 students for short study stays. And we send out almost 2,000 all over the world, including Indonesia. We also have a campus in Korea. This is actually our extra campus. We have Ghent University teachers that are living there, and they are giving 4 specific bachelor studies in English. So for those who prefer to study nearby or nearer by, they can check out the programs that we offer in Korea. As a university, of course, we also do research. Our education is very strongly based on the research that we do. It's a research-based university. We have doctoral schools, around 700 PhD students a year. Most of them, well, half of them are international PhDs. We have a quite impressive output in articles, almost 60,000 a year. And more than half of them are with international co-authors, just indicating that we are very internationally oriented. We also have a tech transfer system campus where we valorize our research, where we work together with businesses, putting the research that we have produced into practice. Okay, what is a student life like in Ghent? Well, as we have a lot of students, including international students, we have all the facilities that you need to make your life agreeable, safe, and comfortable. We have infrastructure on sports, we have student dormitories, we have bike rental, as you have seen, we have student restaurants with very modest prices, but we also have services to medical and psychological to help you when you have study problems or medical problems. We have all this in-house. We have also a language center where you can learn Dutch or improve your English if you wish. Okay, let's listen to Jasper, what he thinks of student life in Ghent. Wait a minute. Jasper, just a second.
If you want to take a break from all that studying, you can always visit the GUS. It's a place where you can blow off your steam like these guys and choose from a wide variety of different sports. If you're not a sporty type, no worries, you can always visit a cultural hotspot. Like this one, the Cultural Temple of Ghent, the Vooruit. Or like that one, Sphinx Cinema, or that one, or that one. Over here, the St. Peter's Square, where every year the student kickoff is organized for all the students of Ghent. Or this one, Kinopolis, where once a year in October, the red carpet is rolled out for Filmfest Ghent. And over there, you have dormitories of the University of Ghent, where you can stay as an exchange student during your stay. Those were the days. When you had enough of all that culture, you can always chill in the park. Because Ghent is an unbelievable green city. I fell asleep in the park. I hope I'm still in time to meet with my old friends of the student exchange program. I'm currently at the Vlasmarkt, the place to be if you want to have a good time. This is the place where the magic happens. It's filled with bars, pubs, restaurants, you name it. As you can see, there is plenty of stuff to do here in Ghent when you want to take a break from studying. I'm going to catch up here with my friends, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye, and cheers, guys! Hey.
Okay, so this was my promotion talk. So now let's look into if I have convinced you, or I'm sure I have convinced you to study, how to go about it. Well, first of all, you have to find out which program is of interest to you, find out what the admission criteria is. The applications for 23-24 will open in October. For 22-23, it's quite late, so you have to aim at 23-24. And you can apply as of October this year. The deadlines for submission for your application will be March next year. As I said, browse in our study guide to find a program to your taste. Check the academic requirements. They are different per program, so you have to check the language requirements and other study requirements that you need to prove. So we have different what are the scholarship opportunities? For some programs, we have Flemish University Cooperation Grants. You can check the study guide for 6 or 7 programs, mostly in bioscience engineering. You can get scholarships from Belgium. We also are active in Erasmus Mundus. So 15 programs offer Erasmus Mundus scholarships. And we have Study in Flanders, which is also a scholarship program that you can check out. Of course, you can also look nationally to the Indonesian grants, such as LPDP. Ghent University is recognized as a admissible university to study with LPDP scholarships. Or you can look at any other international scholarships through the known scholarship portals or the European Funding Guide. I can refer to that. What does it cost to study in Belgium? Well, compared to other countries, it's quite democratic, let's say, especially if you compare with the UK or with the States. For a master student, it's about 2,000 euro for the, let's say, soft research faculties. For the scientific research faculties, it's about almost 6,000 euro a year. What will it cost besides the study money? I think with €850 a month, which is, let's say, $1,000 a month, you can live comfortably in Ghent. Also, you have to take into account that you have to cover your health insurance and your visa cost if this is not covered by a scholarship. That was my introduction to Ghent University. If you have any further questions, you can have it now in our Q&A, or you can look at the website and contact us via email that are indicated here. Okay, I am ready to listen to your questions.
Okay, thank you so much for the insightful and interesting presentation, sir. For those of you who are curious and want to ask some questions, feel free to use a raise hand feature or chat box feature. Don't forget to introduce yourself and institution as well. Okay.
Don't be shy.
Okay. Does anybody have a question? If none, I would probably ask a question. So you have mentioned earlier that there are some scholarships that we can apply to if we want to study in Ghent. And does Ghent University itself offer scholarship for international students besides those scholarships that you have mentioned earlier?
Yes, Ghent University does have scholarships. It's called master grants, but these specifically go to students that are already studying at Ghent with their own means. When you have studied for 1 year with your own means, you can ask for a scholarship to cover the second year. So it's actually ones that you have started studying. But the other scholarships are available for the whole duration of your study. I see that there are some questions in the chat are occurring. I see a question on the student clubs. Well, I can tell you that there is a specific Indonesian student club, which is actually one of the most active ones in Ghent. It's called Indosag. I think they have over 150 members. I can say that the Indonesian student community in Ghent is quite big. It's one of the, after the Chinese and the Vietnamese, it's one of the biggest student communities, both in masters and in PhD students. So you will be able to connect and have your Indonesian friends that can guide you and help you to get along in Ghent. There's another question. The dorm. Yes, the dormitories, as you could see in one of the clips, there are 5 or 6 university dormitories. International students have priority in these dormitories. So if you study as an international student, you will have a priority to get a room in these dormitories. They are cheaper than the rooms in the private market, but there are rooms in the plenty of rooms in the private market as well.
Okay, I think the question from the chat box is already answered. Does anybody wants to ask question directly to Mr. Regine? You can raise your hand. I think there's no more question, but
pops up.
Oh, there's a question.
The COVID regulations. Yes, I did not include information on COVID because it's changing so quickly. Basically, in Belgium, let's say, the COVID is under control. We work with color codes. So we switched from code red to code orange a couple of weeks ago. And we expect to be switching from code orange to code yellow, which is almost the normalized somewhere in half of March. Like in the rest of Europe, the majority of the population is vaccinated. We have in Ghent and in Belgium a very strong health system. So things are mostly under control. Even international students, if they come to Ghent and they have not been able to get vaccinated in their home country, they will have no problems to get vaccinated immediately once arriving in Belgium. So basically, for next academic year, we are quite confident that everything returns to normal. Even in the past year, with COVID limitations, we were able to continue lectures in a combination on the campus and online. But we did continue with the necessary safety rules to give lectures on campus under the COVID. So I think COVID by next academic year will not interfere with study.
Okay, thank you.
I see. Just one question on wear a mask. Well, now it is still compulsory to wear a mask in public transport and in rooms, but probably this will change and it will be optional. It's up to your own choice to wear a mask, probably soon.
Okay, thank you for the answer, sir. I think there is someone raising their hand. And London Youth, you may unmute yourself.
All right, thank you, Ms. Yasrini. Hello, Mr. Don. Thank you so much for your presentation. I have this one question, and I would like to ask this to you. How much does the minimum cost do we have to prepare when we want to study and also live in Belgium, especially when we go to Ghent University? Is it really affordable for international students to live or also to study there? I mean, can you just give us maybe an example price, maybe for groceries or maybe a cup of coffee that we can buy every single day there? Thank you.
Well, the cost of living will for sure be more elevated than in Indonesia. That's a reality. Basically, as I mentioned, you should think of having about $1,000 a month to live comfortable, but that includes housing, transport, food, etc. Let's say for daily meal, if you go to a student restaurant, you can have a meal for about $5, a little bit over $5 in student restaurants, because there is a special rate for students. If you would go to a restaurant on the private market, then it will be much more expensive. Well, much more. Let's say that it will cost you easily $20 to have a good meal. You can go cheaper. Groceries, I would say with $15 to $20 a day, you will live very comfortable. You can do it less if you look out a little bit for cheaper occasions.
Okay, I think more and more questions are coming in the chat box. Okay, so Sabut Harizona asks, would like to ask about, does Ghent University offers a short program or exchange program that we can apply?
Yes, exchange programs, there are plenty. As you will notice, there are quite a big offer of English taught programs where you can come for one semester. Usually the exchange is for a semester. If you are interested to do an exchange, I suggest that you contact our international relations officer at the email address that is in the presentation. I think the organization will make the presentation available afterwards. Otherwise, I can put it in the chat. That's international student at UGent. and they can guide you through the exchange opportunities at Ghent University.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for the answer. We have next question from Gladivia. She would like to know if there's any scholarship for bachelor program and what are the eligibilities for that program.
Well, as I mentioned, bachelor programs, most of the bachelor programs are in Dutch. It's only the master programs there where they have a good choice of English. There are a couple of bachelor programs in English, in engineering, that is. The programs in our faculty in Korea are in English. They are mostly on biotechnology. And there you can check, it's called, I will put it in the chat. It's our global campus of Ghent University. If you Google that, you can find information. Oh, I made a type mistake there. But for bachelor studies, the choice is limited. Please check our study guide, look for, well, filter the English programs and filter bachelors, and you will see a few, but they are quite limited. And there are also limited scholarship opportunities. Most scholarship opportunities are for the master programs. Unless you speak Dutch, of course. If you speak Dutch, you have plenty of choice.
Okay, I think the next question will be the last question. I will entertain the question from Raudatul Hasana. Is there any particular rules about international students who want to take part-time job activity while being there, especially for those who got the scholarship?
As a student, you are allowed to generate an income to a certain extent. Depending on the program, that's quite possible and quite popular. You have to take into account that most of the, well, if you talk about master programs, it's quite demanding, so you will not have the opportunity to work full time combined with your studies, but you can understand that. But many students do work in restaurants, or the Ghent University also has a student job office where you can check what possibilities you can do. So there are opportunities to make some money during your studies as well.
Okay, thank you very much for the answers, Mr. Jen. I hope it answers all of the questions, and due to time constraints, sadly we have to move on to the next agenda. But before we move on, we would like to give the speaker a few minutes for a closing statement.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope I have convinced you that Ghent University is a really worth looking into the study opportunities. We have a large choices of English programs. There are several funding opportunities. It's affordable, much more affordable than some other European and American universities. So make sure to check out our study program and contact us if you have questions of any sort, so we can guide you. And you will be not the first and certainly not the last Indonesian student that we hope to welcome at Ghent University. So good luck with whatever you choose, and hope to see you sometimes in the future. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Once again, we would like to thank the speakers for their time and information. We hope that our universities can keep in touch for more events in the future. Okay, so following the rundown, the next session will be held in the main room. I would like to thank all the speakers and for the informative and interesting presentation, and all the participants for their active participation. Once again, I'm Alma, and I would like to apologize if there are any mistakes or inconveniences from me as a moderator in this afternoon session. That's all from me, and now we would like the participants to please move back to the main room to see the presentation from the University College Dublin, Ireland. Thank you.
Recording stopped.
Goodbye. Thanks. Thanks, Alma. Good job.
Thank you, sir.